Well, it looks like everybody's had their fun. Steve, would you like to come up and say a few words? And
I got your notes.
I'm sure Steve has something to say. And then after that, we'll just mingle. We have some cake and refreshments and stuff. And just, you're here for Steve to say thank you.
Let's see, how long does this last till? We got more stories. I could tell stories about every one of the guys who's here.
Do it.
We got time. We got time? They probably don't want to listen to all those stories. But I do strongly encourage all of you guys who've been former troop members, every photo book that I have made over the last 31 years is sitting out here ready for you to look at and share some memories with the other guys here and so forth. It was kind of fun setting things up. It's the first time all those books have been out on display at one time. So it's kind of neat. And I also want to say thank you, all of you who showed up. It's nice to see the current troop here, and it's nice to see guys all the way back from the early 80s when I first started with the troop here. And even quite a few of the Eagle Scouts over the years on the ride. Jeff was our first one, and Darren back there, he's my last one. So we've had 20 of them. Our troop has been higher than the national average. Good. Granted, us adult leaders provided the opportunity, but they did the work. They're the ones that are being commended getting the readers. I think my little thing I had written out here is pretty much shot. And they're still coming in. Like it was stated earlier tonight, I did not start as Scoutmaster. The troop had already been formed when I began with the troop. This current troop started in December of '79. And John Schofield, the policeman back then, was the first Scoutmaster. In 1981, this troop went to 4 people as Scoutmaster. Because John stepped down in January, he was the only cop in town, so it was just too tough for him to do both things. And then George O'Brien took over because the council told the committee that if we didn't have a Scoutmaster, they were going to pull the charter. So he stepped down from committee chairman and took over as Scoutmaster until we found a new Scoutmaster who was only Scoutmaster for maybe 4 or 5 months. Wasn't working out. The committee decided to have a special meeting, had the district executive at that time come to see what their options were. I went to a Cub Scout meeting that night because I was going to be Weagle's den leader. On the way back home, I noticed they were still outside, or some of the committee members were still at the cafe. So I stopped in, took a look, asked them, well, how things go and so forth. Oh, they said they fired the Scoutmaster. Without asking, they appointed me as the Scoutmaster. I was already pretty much doing the work anyway because the other guy wasn't able to make most of the meetings. So that's how it started. And like was stated earlier, if you would have told me that 30 years later I'd be Scoutmaster yet, no. I would have never thought that would happen. Most Scoutmasters, I think, last, what, 5 to 8 years, something like that? Basically as long as the boys are in Scouts. I never had any boys in Scouts. How come I got stuck doing this? There's some other people we should thank here too. The VFW has been our sponsor since it started in December '79. So the troop owes them a gratitude of thanks. And also the Legion and the VFW have been big supporters of Scouting over the years. In fact, when we went to the National Jamboree back in 2001, I think the Alliance, I think it was, donated enough money to the troop so that every one of our scouts who went to the National Jamboree was able to be fully uniformed from head to toe, which was a tremendous boost to all the guys that went. Because we had 9 guys go to the Jamboree that year. That was a fairly good sum of money they gave us. Big help. Hey, Mark, come up.
I don't know if I should.
You get up here. I'm not standing up here alone anymore. I don't remember what year it was, but this, well, you could probably figure it out. Amart went to summer camp for the very first time at Crow Wing Scout Camp. And that camp doesn't even exist anymore. We're longer lasting than the camps we used to go to. It was A-Mart's first summer camp. It was almost A-Mart's last summer camp. We had some trials and tribulations that year. Well, we stuck it out. Things continued on, and this summer, in July, A-Mart will be going to his 25th consecutive summer camp, which, considering you are 99 or something like that?
Not quite. Just 85.
85 years old, and he's still going strong in scouting, which is just amazing to me. We got to give him a big round of applause.
Thank you, everybody.
Like Amar said, we made a good team over those years and have become pretty good friends too over that time. It's all Peter's fault. When Peter joined, then Amar joined too. So, thank you.
And thank you.
You're welcome. A couple other people I just want to thank over the years because, let's face it, as Scoutmaster, I can't do this alone. Maybe the public thinks that if you're Scoutmaster, you're the guy who does everything. And once in a while, it sure feels that way. But you can't do this job if you don't have active parents, if you don't have active committee, and if you don't have active scouts. Really want to thank the people who took over as committee chairman over those years, because they're the ones that had to put up with me the most, right, Mike? We used to, Jerry, I don't think Jerry Onceman's here. I think younger Jerry's here, but I don't think older Jerry's here. Jerry's dad, when he was on the committee, we pulled a good one on Mike when he was committee chairman one time. The troop needed tents. Tents were on sale in St. Cloud. Jerry talked to me. He went and bought the tents without committee approval. Next committee meeting, we brought up the subject of the tents, that we need tents. So Mike's leading the meeting. He goes through the whole thing and motions and so forth. Yep, okay, we approved the tents. Jerry handed him the receipt for the tents. Mike also made the comment that I will never forget, as long as I live. Let's see, Nathan, were you the one who mentioned Mel TV? Yeah. Okay, did a lot of work with Mel TV, and the reason I got involved with Mel TV was because of the Scouts. I saw that as a perfect opportunity to promote scouting within our town. So we videotaped the Court of Honors, any award ceremonies we had. We take the video camera out on campouts and film what we're doing out there. But we did a couple of interview shows where we interviewed people involved with scouting. Of course, I was never in those shows. I was producing them. But Mike was in one of them, and at the end of the show, and I think he thought this was going to get cut out, but it didn't. He made a comment that, and the ladies watching the show should not consider Steve as a good husband. He's way too busy with scouting. And unfortunately, he was right.
Well, it wasn't just me. I had that meeting.
Oh, every one of you guys said something.
Joe Timmons was on there.
Yeah, they all agreed. Yeah, it was a good show. I still got that show.
Yeah, that's been played on LTV.
Oh, that was played on LTV every year during February Scout Month. I also want to recognize the assistant scoutmasters over the years. Amart, of course, is our longest running. He's been my closest ally in getting through everything. But there was quite a few people who were assistants over the years. In fact, a couple of them are standing in back. Jeff Duclos and Mike Reeder were two guys, and they got to give them credit. They were with the troop when the troop hit its biggest membership. We peaked out at 41. And those guys, and actually I think we had 4 or 5 assistant scoutmasters at that time, because we actually hit 41 twice. The very first time we hit 41, Amart and I almost quit. We didn't know how to handle that. It was just getting to be too much. Then we dropped down a little bit, and all of a sudden Mike Linneman's patrol, or group, there he is, his group came in with 13 Weeblos in 1 year. Biggest Weeblos group we ever had. And suddenly we were back up to 41 again. But we had help the second time. And that made a huge difference on how things went. So thank everybody who's helped over the years, because if we wouldn't have had that help, I would have been gone a long time ago. And I think everybody here knows that 4 times before I tried to quit. It's much nicer to say that I retired. So thank you all for coming, and I know I didn't get the chance to talk to a lot of you yet, so I hope you're not going to go before I do. So thank you, one and all. You've made the last 30 years a pleasure. It's been fun. It's been good times. And Mark, good luck. Thank you.